Hey guys, DanO here from the DanO Sonic Ensemble with part 4 in a 5-part series of my most influential musicians or artists or performers of all time. So a quick rundown of the criteria. Number 1, I need to have been a longtime fan of this performer. Number 2, I can sing multiple songs of theirs. And 3, I have multiple songs in my songbook called El Songbook. So, having said that, number 2 on this list, in no particular order, is Frank Zappa. So Frank Zappa passed away, unfortunately, in 95, I think, maybe 94, right around then. I first discovered Zappa's music in 91 and was really influenced by his ability to improvise, his humor, his snarky sense of humor, his complexity, his broad ability to play different types of music. A lot of these things really resonated with me as a young musician, especially the improv. That has not left me. I still like improvisation quite a bit. So I never saw Zappa live, unfortunately, but I have seen Dweezil Zappa. His son has a band called Zappa Plays Zappa. And I've seen Zappa Plays Zappa 2 times here in Albuquerque. Big fan of that band. So there's also a new documentary out in the world by Alex Winter, who is Bill from Bill and Ted's way back in the day, but he's also a director. He makes documentaries, and he made a really excellent documentary on Zappa, which is a great way to kind of get your head around who the man was, see some of the archives of his music and photography, and hear his life story from musicians and family and people who knew him. Really strong documentary. I recommend you check it out. So Zappa had over 100 albums released up to date. About 50 were released when he was alive, and another 50 or so after he passed away. And it's kind of daunting if you want to get into Frank Zappa. There's so much, and how do you know? Where do you start? So here's a few albums that were really influential to me and I think are good starting points. So 1973, the Apostrophe Overnight Sensation album. That one has a lot of classic Zappa songs. They're not too complex. They're kind of funny. I think a lot of longtime Zappa fans would point you towards the Apostrophe Overnight Sensation albums. The song Uncle Remus is pretty powerful. Dynamo Hum is always a favorite. Good stuff on that album. There's also Joe's Garage, which is a double album set or 3 acts. That one is pretty legendary. Really got into that quite a bit. That came out in 79. In 81 is the You Are What You Is album. That one was kind of off the wall. Some good stuff in there. Hot Rats. Everyone likes Hot Rats. It's earlier in his career, 72, I think. Then we also have one of the live albums I really got into right when I started listening to Zappa was The Best Band You Never Heard in Your Life. And I think that was released in 91. That compiles some live shows that Zappa did from the late 70s and has some really good stuff in it as well. So, good place to start. Hopefully you guys can check some of those out. So what I want to do now is to play a quick Zappa tune that's in El's songbook here. I have a few of them in here. He had some pretty snarky lyrics, so I'm going to play a safe for work, child-safe song here. No foul language, no craziness. This is called Joe's Garage, and it's obviously the title track from the album, Joe's Garage. It wasn't very large. There was just enough room to cram the drums in the corner over by the Dodge. It was a 54 with a mashed up door and a cheesy little lamp, with a sign on the front said Bend a Champ, and a second-hand guitar. It was a Stratocaster with a whammy bar. We can jam at Joe's Garage. His mama was screaming, his dad was mad. We was playing the same old song. Afternoon, and sometimes we would play it all night long. It was all we knew and easy too, so we couldn't get it wrong. All we did was bend the strings like this. So that is not a complex song by Zappa. He gets worlds more complex than that. That's the simple 1, 4, 5. But he was making an homage to rock and roll. The whole album, Joe's Garage, builds in complexity. It's like the whole music industry going from the 40s to 50s to 60s. So by the end, the 80s, it gets pretty complex with some fun stuff on there. So, one more thing before we go. I got to show you this nice piece of art I have installed in my kitchen. So check this out. A local artist here in Albuquerque. I worked with him to create custom paintings on some glass that's in my cabinetry here in my kitchen. So you can see here on the left, that's Frank Zappa. He wasn't left-handed. We flipped it just so artistically it looks even cooler. So I used to have some roses here in my kitchen, and I thought, let's go ahead and scrape those off and put some musicians on there. So that's where we're at. So spoiler alert, who's that playing on the other side of this? These two performers. Who is that guy? Stay tuned for the next episode to find out. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Do the likey, subscribey, and hit the bell, and tell a friend, and remember, dose.